Upgrade!
How's it going, guys? My name is Checker and welcome to today's video. The Flintlock weapons have finally landed in Fortnite Save the World, but are these weapons any good? Are they worth your time? Are they worth your investment of pure drops of rain, lightning in a bottle, perk up, re-perk, all of that cool stuff? Today, that is what we'll be finding out. All of these weapons, with the exception of the Walloper, are obtainable only through road trip llamas. The Walloper, on the other hand, is purchasable in the event store for 1,680 gold. So is the Walloper a good weapon? Is it worth buying? And what about the rest of these Flintlock weapons? So first and foremost, guys, I went and actually asked you guys on Twitter what you thought of these weapons, and you guys were actually kind of all over the place with these weapons. A lot of you thought they were really good weapons, a lot more of you thought they were just okay weapons overall, and then a lot of you guys also thought that these were really bad weapons, or bad weapons in general. But let's go here and take a look at all of these weapons. The Dualist is up first, and this thing is a pretty strong revolver. Flintlock, a slow-firing revolver with a powerful kick that deals heavy headshot damage and knocks back targets. Accurate out to mid-range. This thing is a pistol. It's obviously not going to be ideal for long range, and it really shouldn't be. But what you guys are essentially getting here is a 6-shot revolver, and yeah, it's very, very similar to something like the Judge. And the really cool thing about this weapon set is the use of heavy bullets as ammo. You know, I've often felt that we need more weapons that use heavy ammo. We have a lot of weapons. We actually have a ton of weapons that use light ammo, right? We have a fair bit of weapons that use medium ammo, but not a whole lot that use heavy ammo. So that is really cool. The Dualist does use heavy ammo, obviously, here. And like I said, it is essentially a Judge revolver. It has a lot of kick, but it's some pretty good damage, has a lower magazine size, which honestly 6 shots is pretty decent. No complaints there as far as magazine size goes. If you guys are looking for some perks for this weapon, I would highly recommend putting reload speed on this thing. But other than that, guys, a heavy hitting revolver. Moving on, we have the Dragoon shotgun. I've actually been seeing a lot of comments and just overall discussion about the name Dragoon. Apparently, like Call of Duty or something has a weapon called the Dragoon, which would actually make sense if it were in like one of the World War II games, because the Dragoon is actually a real name for a real rifle. I'm not going to bore you with too much real history, but I actually own one of these weapons, a Dragoon. The Dragoon is a pre-World War II Russian rifle. It's actually a really cool rifle. What I have is a Mosin Nagant X Dragoon, so it was a Dragoon at one point, but then got converted to the M9130. So, I mean, yeah, nobody cares. But the Dragoon in Fortnite Save the World is a very similar weapon to, I believe, the Thunderbolt, as it is a shotgun with a very limited range. Does some pretty good damage, especially up close, has some pretty decent knockback. But the cool thing about it is that it has a very wide spread to it. So if you're in a trap tunnel, or let's say you have a lot of enemies directly in front of you, this weapon can damage all of those enemies at once, but at the cost of very poor range and a very low magazine size. But it is a very cool shotgun. It is a very good shotgun for trap tunnels, like I said before, and it's a chance to easily get a weapon like the Thunderbolt if you do not already have one. Moving on, though, we have my favorite weapon in this event so far, the old Betsy. The old Betsy is a sniper rifle, and the key feature here, the cool thing about this weapon, is that it doesn't have a scope. At least that's why I like this weapon. It doesn't have a scope. I just, for some reason, scopes just don't really feel right in Save the World. I don't know, that's just kind of my opinion though. Scopes, I don't like having scopes on weapons in Save the World, and that is admittedly one of the reasons why I really like this rifle. Even without a scope, it is insanely accurate. It deals a ton of damage, like a ton of damage, guys, but like the other Flintlock weapons, is somewhat hindered by its magazine size. In this case, we have one shot, and then you need to reload every single time. But nonetheless, this is a very powerful weapon, and it doesn't have a scope, making it much easier to use in short to mid-range conflicts. And yeah, I just love this sniper rifle. Now keep in mind though, this is a sniper rifle. Volume of fire is not its strong suit. If you're looking to increase that volume of fire though, get reload speed perks and upgrade those perks. Those will drastically increase the rate of fire of this weapon, because with a magazine size of 1, you are only getting rounds off as fast as you can reload. But I do really enjoy this weapon. It is by far the best weapon in this event so far, in my opinion. So guys, that does it for the 3 ranged weapons so far. We still are waiting on, like, I believe the cannon, and then also another sniper rifle with a scope. Let's move on to the melee weapons though, starting off with the Sir Hoody, which I just noticed now is kind of glitched looking. It's not that small. It's really not that small in the game. You're not carrying around a little toothpick. But the Sir Hoody is a melee club. It has high impact. It is a slow firing or slow swinging weapon, I suppose. Like all other clubs, it is ideal for impact. It values impact more so than it does damage. If you're looking for damage, go with something like a sword, for example. But with clubs, you're getting a higher impact, and that can be more beneficial when fighting something like a smasher. Other than that, it's a club. There's nothing too special about it. It's just a fairly typical club from everything that I can tell about it. So moving on, with that said, we have the fishing hook up next. Kind of a really cool, unique, and almost Egyptian looking kind of thing here, with the exception of that flintlock action right there on the handle. But again, like the Sir Hoody, it is a fairly typical melee weapon. It's going to be slower than a sword, but deal high damage. It's a great weapon for dealing damage. It also has some pretty decent impact as well. Not as much as the Sir Hoody, but a pretty decent amount, making this a great scythe if you're looking for a scythe. But up next, guys, we have the Walloper, my favorite melee weapon on this list. You're gonna have to struggle through this one too. I can feel my voice. I'm like starting to lose my voice oddly. But anyway, guys, the Walloper is a really unique weapon. This is the one that's going to cost you 1,680 gold. Now, the cool thing about this is the leap attack, the heavy attack. It's really a unique attack. The heavy attack is really, really unique. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to, because you do kind of have to, in a way, kind of aim it. Why do you have to aim it? Well, you actually go airborne. It's really weird. So yes, using the heavy attack will send you airborne, lunging forward, and deal some pretty dang good damage. But that does require you to have at least some practice under your belt and be able to hit those targets, because it is kind of a little bit unpredictable. So the Walloper is essentially a standard old hammer with a really unique effect to it, with a really unique heavy attack, and I like it. I really like it. I like the fact that it is something new. So do I recommend picking this thing up? Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty cool weapon, and it's actually a pretty fun weapon too. How do you have fun though with the Walloper? Well, number one, you build a stairway to heaven, and number two, once you reach the top, simply do a heavy attack. You will go flying, but keep in mind you will also take fall damage. You can, however, survive these falls just like you normally would. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching today's video. What do you think of the flintlock weapons? Let me know down below. But like I said, thanks guys for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.